Hi, I'm Delia Fox, and today I want us to talk about MicroStories. So every week I have a live session that is 30 minutes session every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Paris time. In that session, we discuss a topic that really helps you to build your career. Last week, we talked about how to create microstories with your results and how to make people around you your brand ambassadors. So if you missed that session, that's fine. We're going to kind of cover a little bit now. So let's see what we can get in. What I want to talk about today is your microstories. So let's first understand what I mean by microstories. So MicroStories, in my course, Spin Your Reputation for Success in a Month, we have one of the exercises that we do is to create a story behind your career choice. So when you're a child and you dream to become an astronaut or teacher or whatever you want to do, that's really ideal when you already have a dream and you work towards it to achieve it. So that's amazing. So this is very common for doctors or for vets. So your love for animals make you want to become a veterinarian, or your love for food makes you a chef. Love for teaching makes you a teacher, and so on. But not everyone has a story behind their career choice, and sometimes you have to think about it to find out what that is. For instance, I didn't want to work in banking when I was little. And I think that in a way, the career chose me. So in this exercise that we do during my course, we look at identifying your career story, really. So the reason behind your career story. It's really kind of like the why of whatever you're doing at work, which is amazing because it really puts a soul to your CV. You have your CV, you have your social media, and you have your story, which really makes you like a person. You connect, it's emotional. So it's really powerful. And people tend to remember stories more than an experience or a result. Why don't you ask your manager what were your top 3 achievements last year? A manager who has a team of 10 people, they might even remember their own results last year or the team's results. But your results, especially, or the top 3, they might guess one of those, but not necessarily all of them, right? So you are the person in control of your results. So what we did last week in our session, the microstories, what we do with microstories, we look at your results. So everything that you have as facts, your results, you already achieved those things, your wins, what made you special, why did your manager say, oh my God, that result was amazing. So that's what you want to look at. So you take all your results. You have to actually take your time to look at your achievements. I usually do it by roles. So if I work for that company, I'm looking at their achievements. I'll kind of make them a story and then I'll use that in the future. But it depends on the person. The idea of it is that you want to create 3 micro stories, 3 achievements that really make you unique and that showcase your authority in your field, and you use past performance to kind of make way for your future. And this is really about talking about yourself. This is maybe a conversation when you meet someone at an event. So let's say you meet someone new and you don't have a topic to talk about, you can try to get one of your stories in the conversation so that you talk about that. It's really powerful. So how do you find your micro stories? Well, the first thing that you want to do is to write down your achievements. So let's say you have, I don't know, I saved 10% in something, I saved time, I automated this project or task, whatever it is. And then when you have all those achievements, which should be in your CV as well, so the easiest way would be to take your CV and look at them. If you don't have them as results, you need to revamp your CV. But you take your stories and then you think about it from a STAR point of view, something that is used when you're prepping for your interviews, the STAR method. So STAR is situation, task, action, and result. So this is how you prep to talk about your results in an interview. So we're actually using the same thing here. The only difference is that here you look at the same results, but you look at using them in life conversations, not only when you go to interviews or when you prep for interviews. So if you have those star method exercises already done, if you've been through the interview process recently, that's already a start. You already have something to tell. So I would gather 3 stories that you will have. So let's say one story where you develop your leadership skills. So you can say, well, the situation, the task, the action that you took, and the results. So those 4 steps will get you your micro story. And then what you have to do is to kind of find ways to implement those micro stories into your business life. You need to find those opportunities in meetings, in one-to-ones with your manager, in a conversation with your colleague that sits next to you, when you remind them of your results. So this is key. You have a micro story which you already wrote, you practiced it, it's fresh and it's structured, and then you tell people about it. Get your story into a conversation. Say, wow, this is very similar to the case where I saved 10% in our, a cost. Do you remember when? And then you go with your STAR method: situation, task, action, and result. Say, see, this is really similar. I can take this on. So in a way, you're retelling a story, your results, which makes you put yourself on your map. And then you tell that to others who will remember your achievements. This is really important. The most common time when we do that is really the performance review. That's really where you want to use your micro stories, where you look at what you achieved that year. But don't forget the old ones as well. So always have all your achievements kind of like top of your mind, so easy for you to tell people about your achievements. That's really important to get that credibility and authority in your field. So credibility is because those are already facts. You're not talking about something that never happened. They know about it. They forget because things happen and they forget about you. People tend to focus on themselves anyway. So you need to remind them about your achievements. That's something that you have to do. So the micro stories, you have to use your STAR method: situation, task, action, and result. And then find ways to use them at work. Not every day, every 5 minutes, you're going to be boring, but maybe once a month, maybe when you go out with your colleagues for a beer. Everyone is more relaxed when they have something to drink, or just being outside the business environment. So that makes them more relaxed, and that helps you to kind of squeeze in your stories. You need to promote yourself. This is really, really crucial, and you need to start doing as soon as possible. So let me know if you use this in your career, if you use micro stories to tell your stories, and if that helps to get you more visible at work. I really hope it helps. Thanks. I'll see you next time. Bye.